Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. Yes, I'm standing next to these stairs. Let me see if I can show them to you. Kind of elaborate. They go upstairs. It's a bizarre place where I am. And these stairs are clearly a feat of engineering. Now, what does that have to do with the video thought for the day? Well, let me tell you. Today, the video thought is based on a passage that's a favorite verse or a life verse of a friend of mine named Mark Granquist. And Mark was telling me about this verse. Now, Mark is a retired engineer, but his brain is all engineering. I mean, it's all process, procedure. You got a question about Excel spreadsheets? He's the guy. And I love his engineering mind because not only are engineers responsible for elaborate staircases and things like that, but engineering features in the life verse of Mark Granquist. Now, this is a life verse may not be the right word for it, but it's certainly one of his favorite verses. And I've looked at it through his eyes to try to understand it. And it's a fantastic verse. I'm going to start calling this the engineer's verse. Let me tell it to you. First, with a question. Do you ever feel like things get upside down? Do you ever feel like defeat is lurking everywhere? Like everything's in danger. Things are falling apart. You fear, you worry about what tomorrow might bring. You don't feel like you're in control. You don't feel like you have a good grasp of the situation. If you do, perhaps you've taken comfort in a passage Paul wrote to the Romans. And if not, you need to take comfort in that passage. Paul wrote in the 8th chapter of Romans, the 28th and 29th verses, which are the engineer's verses, if you will, that I want to use today. Those verses say that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose, because those whom he foreknew, he planned and prepared to share the likeness of his son, the firstborn of many brethren. Now, let's pause for a minute because that's got a lot of words in it, but let's make sure we understand it. First of all, this is not a simple platitude for people when things aren't going well. This is a serious verse. This is a serious statement. Paul says that all things work together for good. And that phrase, work together for good in the Greek, is sun ergo eis agathon. Sun ergo is work together, but it truly is an engineering word. Ergos is the idea of work. It's labor. It's getting a job done. Sun means with. So the idea behind this engineering word is that God is engineering things. He's working together. Whatever it is in your life, whatever's upside down, whatever seems to be defeating, whatever seems dangerous, whatever seems precarious, whatever seems worrisome, whatever is falling apart, God has engineered it. It's a good translation of the word. God has engineered it for good. And he did this because the people that he foreknew, his people. Look, we didn't just stumble into God. We didn't just find God. God's known about us from long before we were created. And the people he foreknew that he predestined, he selected ahead of time to share the likeness of his son, who would be the firstborn of many brethren. Now think about that for a moment. Share the likeness of his son. Jesus suffered many things. Oh, people tried to stone him. He got ridiculed. He got mocked. He got ostracized. Even some of his family didn't get along with him. And his brothers were upset with him. I mean, Jesus didn't have a life of ice cream and dessert. He had a life of a lot of difficult things. Not to mention, of course, the ultimate, the betrayal by a friend, the persecution by and hanging on a cross, death penalty by the Roman Empire, judged by some of his own people, misjudged. This was a tragic situation, but all things work together for good. God engineered good out of all of that. And so when he makes us to be like the image of his son, when he selects us to be sharing in the likeness of his son, we can have a response. And here it is. Chin up. Whatever you're going through, walk with confidence. Is life hard? Yes, at times it is. Is life painful? Yes, at times it is. Might we be betrayed? Yes, at times we might. Yet it will all work out before it's over because God is the engineer. So it's not a platitude. Have a heart-to-heart with God and let him hear your difficulties and then watch him build something good out of it that's even grander than this engineering feat of a staircase I'm standing next to. That's your video thought for the day. God bless you.